Yeah, I figured I'd do this in video for you. This is rather than taking a whole bunch of pictures, but I'll show you around a little bit. There is the dash. You got oil, water, oil pressure, water temperature, oil temperature. Got an idiot light up there. Those are all mechanical. There is a nice odometer tach that'll come with the car, and I forget what the specs on it are, but it's a nice one. There is the driver's door. You can see that split down the long way, so you can kick that panel open to get in and out of the car. So I was talking earlier, depending on what you go with and what I go with, there is a transmission. That is the 83 ZX Trans. That's as close ratio as the stock boxes get. Not super great though. Just to give you an idea, at Mid-Ohio, using third and fourth gear only with the GTL car, so not super great. The pumpkin is out of the car now. That's over here, and that's mounts there. You got some inserts, and those are actually, you can see, are inserted with brazed inserts rather than just being through holes. So they're a pretty decent part. It's I think it's a R180 diff. It's marked 411. I'm assuming that's what's in it. I have no reason to believe it has a limited slip. I think it is it's a welded item. Got some old half shafts. You might want to think about rebuilding those at a minimum, and probably getting some replacements. They're not super awesome looking. But those have been fitted to the car as well, and you have adequate clearance, which is a big problem with these 510s. The diff, you can see with my subframe bracket, the diff has been raised up about an inch, and that'll help with the angles with the dropped car. So the idea with this car, I don't know if I was telling you last night, it's a kind of a low polar moment car. I was looking at getting as much weight out of the rear as possible. So this rear structure is, it's not bolted properly right now. It's relatively stiff, but you're not going to hang a fuel cell in there. So I started with the fuel cell mounting, and that's back there. That'll sit over the pumpkin, and that'll fit that fuel cell that's with the car. Walk you over here. That's that guy up there, like we were talking yesterday. It's got the hard plastic bladder, which I think is no bueno these days. So at a minimum, you'll need to get a new bladder for the thing. Just give me an idea. Well, quality's good for me, I guess. It's all been TIG'd. This side, there's a brand new 95 wall. 1 3/4 coming back, just because of what was there. This side I patched into the original tube. As saying last night, NHR Icedale rosette welds, and there's an insert in the tube. Give you an idea what all that looks like. It's all triangulated nice. Now there's a tube that'll come with the car that comes up from there and comes down, and then mounts right in that area right there, and same thing for the other side. So I'll give you an idea. This is kind of the extent of the finish welding. There's a couple beads you're gonna have to run in there. Let's see what else. You're gonna have to run one in for the sway bar bracket over there. Most of the welding's done on it. No idea what that looks like up there. Now we're talking about some of the nasty areas. This would have been all hidden in here by the quarter panel. So when we unskin the car, you're left with some pretty ugly stuff. So those need to get finished and cleaned up. Some of the other bad welds, the really egregious one is an important one, and that's that guy up there. They just globbed on shit in there. So that's not super great. And the other side is kind of similar. And if a guy wanted to put in a new upper tube there, it wouldn't be the worst thing. The one up there is not great either. Got some porosity and just does not look super awesome. So you have to make a decision on that, whether you want to do a replacement or live with it. The panel, that's all done for a carbed car. I'll get you some pictures of what the backside looks like. My dad did it, and he's a real excellent with wiring, so it's pretty back there. AFR gauge up there as well. Let's see here. All that's brand new. The shut-off switch and all that's all good to go. All been loomed with the, I think, was it the painless, I think, is that looming that we used. Isn't the best stuff, but it works out pretty good. And tilt and pedal setup. Now it is the, we were talking yesterday, it is the original scuttle panel up here. But then you can see just below the pedals, that's all fabricated. And there is down here, you can see those carriage bolts. There's the proper, it must be about 3/8 chunk of aluminum there. Keep your feet from getting cut off if the clutch explodes. So there, you have to excuse the mess. I probably should have cleaned before I took a video, but I didn't. So there's that seat bracket. That'll take that seat that you have perfectly. It's just a bolt-in deal. There's your seat belt mounts down there. There's a center seat belt mounts for the 6-point. That's all done via the the sheet that they give you at the belts. So that should all be perfect fit for you. There's a box over here, and so what happens is the exhaust comes in from the engine compartment. Ducts down into the tunnel, and then comes up into this box. There's a muffler in there, and the muffler kind of threads the needle between this tube here in the body, and that's where the exhaust is coming out. There's different ways you could run it, but yeah, there's the exhaust that I built for it up there, and that should work out pretty good. If you run an L series, if you run something different, you have to think about that. If you ran an SR, that was one of the things that kind of scared me about running an SR in this car, is you're going to go from running on this side, let's see here, and you're going to end up having to thread the needle in through here, and then run back down, and then do a exit on the driver's side. Let's see, get this junk out of the way here. So it's all pretty stock suspension in the front, except for the coilovers. You can kind of see them in there. And it's got the big anti-roll bars as well. Speedway. I imagine it's probably Speedway did those. Fully adjustable up there, of course. Strut brace, and it could all benefit from a cleanup at some point. But you could probably drop in an engine and go racing in pretty short order, especially for something like an L series. That sucker will drop right in there, and it's all set up for a points car at this point. But you'd have to do a MSD box or whatever. Let's see what other icky areas we can find here. It comes with a fire bottle, so that'll probably need to get recharged. Let's see that. Yeah, you're in the green there. I don't know what the rule is as far as the dating on that. You'd have to check that out. It's got the brake bias adjuster. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, a lot of the welding's not too bad. They did a pretty decent job with it. I don't know why some areas are so bad and some are actually pretty darn decent. That's pretty nice up there. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to box this whole rear section in behind the driver. Let me know if you need to see anything else, and we'll get this video to you ASAP. Thanks, man.